In this video I will show you how to make a health bar with changing colors. So what I have here is just a main scene with our character and ground attached to it. So what we're gonna do is create a new scene, user interface, attach a texture, rect. Here we're gonna select the texture, the simple texture. Now I'm gonna drag the width to my liking. We're gonna make a big health bar so it's visible. Now we're gonna go to layout, go from position, change it to anchors and set it to center top. And go to transform and position Y we're gonna set to, let's say, 10, so it's not next to the edge. You should always keep your elements just a little bit from the edge so it looks better. And what we're gonna do is go to our control node and here create a new script, call it, let's say, UI. Here delete everything we don't need, reference our texture. Here we're gonna create a min underscore health and it will be equal to 0. Another max underscore health, it's gonna be, let's say, 100 var health, which will be a type of float, and then equal to max health because we want to start with the maximum health. As well, here we need to set it to 0.0 and 100.0. Now we're gonna put a colon and here write set, let's say, value, another colon, and here it's gonna be health equals clamp value, and then it will be min health and max health. Essentially what this does is no matter how we set our health, it will be between the minimum value and the maximum value. Awesome. Now let's put an input function with an event, and here if event dot is action pressed, and let's say if we press the up button we will add 5 HP, and if we press the low button, the S basically, we're gonna minus 5 HP. So if this is pressed and event is pressed, then we're gonna do health plus equals 5. And now let's do the same with event is action pressed, and then it's gonna be moved down, and event is pressed, we're gonna do health minus equals 5. Now changing the health, I believe that changing the scale would look well, so what we're gonna do is reference our texture rect right here, dot scale dot x. Here it's gonna be health divided by max underscore health, and this essentially is it. Now we're gonna put the same here. I'm not putting this here because if we were, there would be useless additional resources used, so this is good. And now if we go to main, now I will attach a canvas layer and we will attach our control. And now if we go into the game, we can see that if I press up, nothing happens, and if I press down, we get minus 5 HP. And you can see that if I press S, nothing happens. The same goes here. If we press W, it gets bigger. So this is pretty much the basic one. Now what we're gonna do is add an additional really cool feature. We're gonna go to export variable, and it's gonna be gradient of a type of gradient. Now here you can see already a new gradient appear, which will be basically we will be able to set it. So now under here we're gonna as well do, note that our texture is fully white, so this will not be a problem for modulating. So texture.rect modulate. So here equals our gradient, and then dot sample, and here we're gonna write health divided by max underscore health, and we're gonna copy this and put it here as well. Now if we go into our game, we can see that it goes from white to black, because here I set a simple gradient from black to white. So what I'm gonna do is change the colors. You can see that it goes from red to green, but there's brownish color, so instead of having that, we can do a bright orange, a yellow, if I can get it right. I cannot, yeah, right here. So now we have 4-point gradient, which basically, if I go, of course, one more thing, we need to here make a ready function, and here do the same. Basically, when we spawn, we want to check what color it is. So yeah, as you can see, when we spawn, it's green. Now we go down to health, you can see that it goes from red to green in those intervals. And if we go down, it basically disappears, the health bar. Now, what if you want to have not a gradient, but basically if we go past a certain HP, it goes to from green to yellow, then from yellow to orange instantly. So what we're gonna do is delete our gradient, and at the top now we're gonna export variables, and it's gonna be colors with an array, and here it's gonna be color. Now what this essentially does is we will have an array with a type of a color, so you will be able to choose a color. Now here, function, and let's do set underscore the color. We're gonna have a value of float, so we don't need to calculate later. And here it's gonna be a variable. Let's do a variable of t, and it's gonna be a value times the colors dot size. And here we're gonna do snapped as well, and it's gonna be 0. So what this does is basically a round function to 0, so to an int, and here we can just return the t, and this we're gonna do into a -1 because we need the size from 0, not from 1. And here is going to be colors, and in brackets we're going to do set the color, and here we need to write health divided by max underscore health. Copy this, put it in both of these, and essentially we have done it. So now let's test it out. We're gonna put 4 elements, 4 colors basically. Here it's gonna be a bright red, an orange, yellow, and green, as you can see. This is basically it. And now if we start the game, you can see that it's green. If we lose any HP, it's gonna go to the second color. Now it's gonna go proportionally, then to a third color, and finally to the last color. So yeah, that is basically a non-gradient way of going. If you want your green to be more, you can basically do you can add 5 colors and basically have, I can just copy this and paste it here, and you can have it be for a longer period of time. So yeah, so this is pretty much it. I hope this was helpful, and goodbye.